Hi, I'm Michael Boyajian, and I'm going to be talking about another one of my 11 Jerry and Mike books, which are about my life together with my late wife, Jerry, our experiences, our journeys, and our love together. And I've written 11 books so far, and I have 3 more planned. They were all sent to me by Jerry herself, her presence, and that's why I've written 11 books, and I have 3 more that she wants written also, which will be coming out, over the next few months. But this book that I'm going to be talking about today is a special edition we reissued for June Pride Month, and that's the book about our weekend home in the Catskills. And the title is To the Catskills with Love, the Margaretville Pride Edition. Okay, in case you didn't know it, Margaretville is an LGBTQ vacation capital along the lines of P-Town and Fire Island and other parts of the area. But we had been trying to purchase a home and really couldn't afford it at that point. My friend Larry, who was my boss and mentor, gave me a tip on how he and his wife, when they were younger, got a real home, and that is invest in a vacation home, put sweat equity in it, have a lot of fun in it, and then roll it over for a profit and use that to buy a regular home. And he did that, and it was affordable in his day with a Hamptons weekend home, rolled it over, and in the late 70s they got a brownstone, believe it or not, on the Upper West Side of New York, and for $35,000. The last time I talked to Larry was a few years ago. They sold the brownstone for millions and headed north to Riverside, I believe. But anyhow, I said, let's do that formula. And for us, the place to start was the Catskills. They talk about affordable houses. They had them there. Not going to discuss the price we paid for our weekend home, but we found it in a part of the Catskills we'd never been to, and we were quite familiar with the Catskills being heavy-duty campers. And it was the Western Catskills, specifically Delaware County, and it was a place called Margaretville. And they had a big, at that time, big real estate store as soon as you entered town, with a gigantic plate glass window filled with printouts of homes, their story about the home and the price. And out of all these pictures, one jumped out at us, and that was the house we ended up buying. We got the realtor. She took us up there, and terrific person. We went into the bedroom, and the bedroom looked back onto the mountain that the house was on a very dense forest, and they had ceiling to floor windows, and green light was pouring in, illuminating the whole room in like an emerald green color. Jerry looked at me and said, I want this house. So we put in a bid, and we got the house, no problem really. And I'm not going to go into the exact details, but we were lucky that the lawyer we used up there, who was an outstanding guy, again, a relocate guy from New York, out of the theater world, he fell in love with the area so much that his new house is adjacent to 30 square miles of wilderness, so he's gone in deep. But this house was in a group of houses on top of a hill that was on the side of a mountain, and we were the middle house in the row. And what we did basically is put sweat equity into the home, and we had a lot of parties. Every weekend someone was coming up, friend, family, people on the thruway would be calling, hey, you mind if we spend a night? And I was like, sure, just bring a case of beer. And they would roll in off the thruway, and the biggest regular guest we had up there was Jerry's family, and they came in one giant group. Jerry's sister and all her kids and grandkids, and then Jerry's mom and dad, Gus and Marilyn. And at this point, Gus had suffered a stroke. He was still able to get around, and we'd set him up in the middle of the room, the living room at night on a cot, and everyone was surrounded around him in sleeping bags. You know, and again, I may have mentioned this in one of the other videos. I made sure that he got to see everything you could see in the Catskills. I mean, we went to the Delaware County Fair every year, and I was the guy pushing him around for 5 hours in the sun. The only thing he cared about, though, was he wanted some fry bread with powdered sugar every half hour or so, and I got it for him. Plenty of that at the fair. Anyhow, we put in a lot of work too, and as I was saying about my lawyer up there, he gave me a list of workers that, you know, plumbers, electricians, siding people. Someone else had offered a list, and he said I wouldn't trust those people as far as I could throw them. He goes, here's the list you're going to use. And sure enough, these people were terrific. I mean, my plumber, God bless him, big giant guy like the guy in the Harry Potter movies. He said, I'll do anything you want, but I ain't going into crawl space because I'm afraid of snakes. And he did. He did all the work in the house that regarded plumbing. And up in the Hudson Valley, you want a valve change is what, $100, $200? He did it for $25. Did a great job too, never leaked. Anyhow, we put that in, you know, we had workers working, but we were also breaking our backs with the sweat equity. I mean, we were, you know, scrubbing the walls down, getting rid of any sign of mold or anything, doing all painting and everything. It wasn't just one big party. But a lot of times it was. And one time our Brooklyn friends came up, and I took them out for a hike, and then they have farm stands up there, but the farmers are busy working on the farms, and so it's an honor system. Leave $1, take 5 years of corn. Well, my Brooklyn crew decided to take it a step further and like leave $0.25 and take 10 ears of corn, you know. I was like, oh my God, these are my neighbors. I'm going to get a shotgun shot at me one of these days. But anyhow, it was good. We did a lot of hiking, fishing, and partying, barbecues, everything you can imagine. And sitting on the front lawn one day, looking at the misty mountain across the valley, and all the birds singing around the bird feeder, and the two Norway spruces in front of the house. I said, I got to write about this. And I had given up writing many years ago and went back to college to get my degree because I wasn't getting published really, and put writing on the back burner until this Margaretville light bulb went off in my head, and I started writing essays that got published in the Catskill magazine and the Brooklyn Eagle, Walt Whitman's old newspaper in Brooklyn. And I got so many essays published that I called up my old boss from when I first got out of college, and he was the owner of a small book publishing company. He was a genius at picking out titles that really sold. I said, what do you think of a book of essays on the Catskills? He said, Mike, that went out of style in the 19th century. Do a guidebook. I hung up. The light bulb went off in my head. Yeah, I'll do a guidebook. I know the Catskills like the back of my hand, but I'm going to wrap my essays around the guide. So that's how we had my first book, Green Enchantments, a Catskill guide and collected essays, and it's in its third edition now, and it's still being published since 2004. In any event, that's the story. I hope you enjoyed the book. Have a nice day.